We are back to talk this pretty messy episode of Little Brother. I have a lot to say, honestly. There's a lot to talk about. Do you have any initial thoughts before we jump right in?
No, let's just jump in.
Okay, well, let's start with Leanna. Leanna's starting this episode saying she didn't start the Women's Alliance, which kind of gives Fan Guy, Alex, and maybe even DeLeon she's basically admitting that there's a Women's Alliance here to the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on this conversation?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't that, bad to me because Dee had already admitted that there was a Women's Alliance, and although the players don't know yet that Leanna can be a lying asshole, I'm gonna call you an LAH too, Leanna. Although the players don't know yet that Leanna be telling lies, I think Dee Dee has a reputation of also being quite honest, and so I don't think Dee Dee has any reason to lie. She said there was a Women's Alliance, and if anything, all Leanna did was confirm it, so.
Yeah, that was the confirmation. Next up, we'll talk about Dazed making a deal with Meg here. Thoughts on this deal with Meg? I think, you say all the time that Meg, you can play on her emotions. I feel like Meg's able to do that with Dazed. Because Dazed's whole reasoning is like, I don't want to backdoor Meg. I saw Meg's face when she wasn't picked to play in the veto.
That's interesting. I think I read that more as kind of what you were saying in the last podcast, how Dazed kind of wants to think of every scenario possible. And I think this is one scenario that he's considered where, if both of his nominations come down, that Meg potentially is going to get backdoored. So how can he make this work for himself?
Yeah.
I don't think that it comes from an inherent desire to protect Meg or to, sustain their alliance, because they don't have one. So I think it's just Dazed overthinking, and I don't really know that it was that beneficial of an alliance to make. I don't know that I thought that it was a good idea. I personally am quite skeptical of making these, in advance type of alliances, because when Meg is now in the position of power, do you really trust her to be true to her word? I don't know.
Yeah, I get the point of Dazed here. I get the whole deal thing. Dazed likes to make deals, so he wants to make a deal with Meg here. I don't know if Meg is a person he should be making a deal with. Meg is somebody in this game who's been throwing Dazed's name out almost the entire season until they kind of got on the same page for a while, and now they're back off of page. So I think Dazed has a blind spot with Meg, honestly.
And I also think that, when people show you who they are or how they play, you should believe them. And Meg has already turned on an alliance with Dazed once, so why won't she have the capacity to do it again?
Yeah, Mike said when we interviewed him, he thought if Dazed could get out Meg this week, it was going to be good for his game, and I agree with Mike there. I know Mike has these personal feelings against Meg right now, but still, I think logically, Dazed getting out Meg this round is something that would advance his game personally, because I think that would make a hole in the game, honestly. Whereas Dazed, like I said in yesterday's podcast, I feel like that's why he's doing mediocre at best, because he is playing it's a weak HOH.
Fair enough. I do agree, though, that getting out Meg would help his game. Maybe this is the reason you're going for. Because it would free up Fan Guy, and it would free up Aspen, because they don't really have... And it would free up Alex, because it doesn't have these alleged, number ones with Meg's 4 alliances that she's in.
Yes.
So.
Fan Guy, Meg, and Aspen did have this talk, and what are you thinking of that trio here? Aspen finally admitting the truth to both of them, that she actually voted out Dee Dee.
I just don't understand Aspen's logic behind when she decides to tell the truth. I didn't understand her motivation, and I didn't understand what it accomplished in the chat.
I think it accomplished Fan Guy knowing the truth, and Fan Guy was trying to go to bat for her in this episode.
Okay, so that was her intention.
I think so.
Was to try and say, maybe if I tell Fan Guy, because Days didn't believe me, maybe Fan Guy can put in a good word.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
I think in this case, Aspen actually played it right, but like I called her yesterday, she really is the girl who cried wolf to a lot of people in this game right now.
yeah, I mean, Aspen right now is standing in her shit. You have lied so unnecessarily in this game, and this is you. What is it? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yes, indeed. Alex and DeLeon continued their little duo here, where, you know, DeLeon winning the veto here would have been huge, because it would have really put a wrinkle in Dave's game.
Yes.
Because he would have had to go through all 5 of his possible targets that he's overthinking about. Any thoughts on Alex and DeLeon? I mean, they did great together in Pictionary. They really are.
They killed it, because that fucking cleaning one, I was like, volleyball? Cleaning a pool? Like a pool? I just was confused.
Yeah, when Fan Guy said he was holding a gun, it was a bit
That's a little triggering. I have mixed feelings about how it ended up going, because I personally feel like Alex could have thrown it a little harder. He could have been like, oh, I know this one, Mount.
You don't think it would have been too obvious? Because Days already thought it was a little obvious.
Or if he just would have, like, delayed it a little longer, you know, pull a carry K, or your Wi-Fi drops, something, you know. If he really wanted DeLeon to win, he could have done it. But I do understand, because I do think Days, especially being the paranoid player that we all know him to be, you know, Alex throwing a competition is not out of the realm of possibilities for Days, although Monet having a secret switch vote is. So,
yeah, right.
I do think that Alex made I don't think by him choosing to just say, I need to win this, I don't think that was unreasonable, but I think he could have tried a little harder to throw it if that's what he really wanted to do.
Before we get to Leanna's cheating, would you like to mention anything else that stood out from the Pictionary?
Dude, with the fucking home run, just draw a baseball. I was like, it was right there. You had the house, you had the run.
I mean, honestly, I thought that was easy enough. It was a house and a run. And they were getting running, tracking.
Okay, you're right. Where she really shit the bed was the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And the fact that she kept pointing, I don't know if it was a stick figure or a fucking rosary. I don't know where she was going with that.
It's like an ankh or something.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just way too high level for this cast, Monet. Like, what are you doing? Just draw some fucking pyramids. Call it a day. What are you doing?
Touche. Now, Leanna here at Pictionary, you know, the cheating is bad enough, Leanna.
Now, listen, Nick.
What?
But you get January 6th now.
I don't give a fuck. The cheating.
Don't use your words wisely.
The cheating was bad enough, but then it didn't make the episode. I went easy on Leanna here, honestly. But Leanna lying to me after saying, I didn't cheat. What are you talking about? I didn't cheat. When you're literally on video, Leanna, holding a thing up with 2 hands, and then suddenly you have a new picture? Like, what were you drawing it with your foot? Because I don't understand. Because you were using both hands holding up a picture, so you were caught cheating, Leanna.
Listen, and it wasn't even a winning cheat, okay?
I know.
In that time, you should have had whoever was helping you out draw the United States, draw the scattered islands of Hawaii, and draw a box around it.
Sure, I guess if you're going to cheat, at least try and take extra effort of doing it.
Exactly.
You know, Leanna, she's getting a lot of shit in the comments, and I don't think this is going to help her case any, honestly. It's funny, because I feel like in Online Isolation 3, Leanna was, like, called the people's champion by some of the people in the comments, because they found like she was screwed at the end. This season, she's a little, way more controversial, possibly. I think she's a heel this season.
A what?
A heel is like a bad guy in pro wrestling.
Oh, I see.
You know, so... Any other thoughts on this situation?
Don't cheat.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. It really annoys me.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on, it's never that serious, you know? And Leanna got what she wanted at the end of the day. She was able to work her social game and, you know, get Alex to play the veto on her behalf, so it wasn't necessary. You didn't have to do all that.
It wasn't. And, you know, she keeps saying she's not getting credit for her game. Well, I will be giving her credit for her end game here in a while when we talk about the veto. But I have to call it the cheating because it's
cheating is playing scared.
Kinda. Because she thought she was going home. She was scared to go home. Okay, now for the possible funniest part of the season, honestly, in my opinion. We were watching this together, dying at this part. We were watching this, I was in tears because she was cackling in the background. It was making me laugh even harder.
Child, we were laughing so damn hard we had to rewind it because I kept missing what the fuck Dee Dee was saying. Wait, let me go get my phone. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Well, basically, Aspen is in this conversation with Meg, and she brings up Dee Dee, and she starts basically shit-talking Dee Dee, telling a story about Dee Dee. And Dee Dee pops up in the chat, but Aspen's setting on her phone is that only the person's talking she can see. She can't see that Dee Dee's there, and she's going on and on and on, and Meg gives no hints whatsoever.
So 2 things. This is the face of someone who knows that they done fucked up.
Yes.
There it is. Followed by this realization of, baby, you going home.
That was the face that cracked me the fuck up.
This is when Aspen was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Will not be promoting this on the Instagram page.
And she didn't until now.
Second thing, Meg, baby, you ain't shit either now. Because you could have been like, hey, Dee, what's up, girl? How you doing? You ain't have to let her go on for 9 minutes and 47 seconds like that. You ain't shit for that.
Make sure that she wanted to let Aspen dig her own grave, and she did just that.
Listen, Aspen has dug her own grave this whole season. You ain't have to do all that. You could have been like, what's up, Dee Dee?
Yeah, Aspen has dug her own grave for real. And then this chat just gets more and more. You know, the Matriarchy Alliance, it might be one of my favorite alliances simply for the fact that it's just the gift that keeps on giving because they are so messy with their dynamics. Leanna comes in, and Dee Dee has to admit to them all that she was the one that did
How the turntables turn, right?
Yes.
Did you see Dee Dee? She was like, put the drinking clip up.
She was trying to get away with that, but
she was sipping her water like,
I
guess I'm gonna have to stand in this one.
And she did. She stood in it.
She did.
Then that caused an argument between Leanna and Dee Dee that they're still arguing about in the chats.
Listen, enough. Y'all been having this goddamn argument for a whole year now. Enough. You spent 10 minutes and 39 comments on this YouTube fucking video arguing about it. Enough. Let's just call a spade a spade. Leanna, you voted Dee because you felt that she was a fairly safe choice, which I don't disagree with. On paper, Dee goes home, and you wanted to punish her because she went against your HOH. It's that transparent. Let's move on. I don't understand what they're arguing about.
Yeah, I mean, well, Leanna won't admit that. That's. I mean, I get Leanna's point that she put up Dee Dee because Dee Dee was a vote for Mike, but.
Just say, I put your ass up because you were going against my HOH and I didn't like that shit. And Dee Dee's gonna have to be, it's just like she stood in her shit for outing the Women's Alliance, you're gonna have to stand in your shit and say, yeah, I chose to go against the matriarchy, so you know what? If you put me up, that's what happens. That's what happens when you make boss move. Next. It's not worth 40 comments of arguing.
So, yeah, any other thoughts on this whole argument? Fan Guy comes in during the middle of it as well.
And left his camera off. I feel like he was trying to pull a D part 2.
He was trying, even though it said his name. It didn't make the edit, but yeah.
This is a mess.
This was a massive trap.
I will say, I think Aspen thoroughly enjoyed the argument between Leanna and Dee because it took some of the heat off of her lying ass for a bit.
100% it did, because the start of that chat was rough for Aspen, and then it became a mess between Leanna and Dee Dee.
Yes.
Oh, I want to mention one other thing about the argument going on between Leanna and Dee Dee in the comments, because a part of Leanna's argument is that she realizes that she's saying that she knew Dee Dee was going to be safe and that she knew Monet was going to use her switch a vote. But in this episode, you could clearly see that she doesn't realize that Aspen voted the way she voted. So Leanna is trying to rewrite history in that respect.
There wasn't a secret trap between Leanne and Monet, where Monet told her she had a secret?
No, the only time Monet said that she used the secret veto was in that chat with DeLeon and Didi before it was actually used. Monet has yet to actually really come forward to anybody else at this point in the game. How about Alex now? We're got to talk about Alex. First, Fanguy is doubting Alex's vote because of Alex's reputation. Fanguy believes Aspen over Alex here, even though they're both actually voted the right way.
It is so wild to me that no one will just consider the possibility that maybe an advantage was played. Although I will say again, these are the repercussions when you lie for an entire season.
Yeah, true.
So I understand why. And also, when Alex has lied in previous games, again, like neither of your words carry any weight now. So
yeah, and it also shows the power of a successful switch a vote use like this. So I know you want to roll your eyes, but it's a very
listen.
It's a
I gave
power.
Monet credit. I think that she played the switch a vote at a good time. I'm not saying that she didn't. I think that it was well played.
It was.
I've never said it wasn't.
We're also seeing more of the fluid gameplay here because, in the last episode it kind of broke down between guys versus girls a little, but as Fanguy has so eloquently stated in his confessionals that stop.
Fan Bussy? What Fan Bussy said?
I didn't say that. That was her.
Well, you said her.
And Dod's family. Okay. Fanguy is saying... That's my train of thought. Let me get myself together.
You've had a few.
I have.
Get it together. And action.
Fanguy is saying there are guys protecting girls and girls protecting guys. Fanguy is trying to get in good with Aspen and Meg still here, and kind of throwing Daze and Nav under the bus for their closeness with Didi. I don't know. I just really like the fluidity of this gameplay, though, honestly, because we're kind of. I like the fact that there was like a billion alliances made, and yet there's still more alliances made every week.
It's true, and somehow none of these hoes ever learn their lessons.
But it makes for a good, compelling game, I think.
It does, yeah.
Leanna has a talk with Alex, and this is where we have to give Leanna credit, because I know she's upset that she's not getting credit for her HOHs because they are extremely messy. They are. But Leanna here making that thing with Alex and being making that connection pays off here very greatly when he wins the veto, and she's able to do a hell of a pitch to him, I thought.
Yeah, she really had to beg for it. I mean, she was like, Alex, please, listen, I will be your shield, okay? Yeah. How the turntables turn. Just keep me safe, Alex. Listen. I thought that, Alex did kind of owe her one, especially considering that he went against the Mike vote when she was in HOH. So I think that's another thing that she could have potentially played on. Like, listen, I didn't put you up and you still voted against me. Just do me this solid. So I think they're even now. Honestly, though, I would have respected Alex if he would have just decided to cut his losses with Leanna. The reason being is that if Leanna stays, someone from the little trio of Leanna, Monet, and DeLeon's going to go. It's obvious, right? Well, potentially, right? Because actually Aspen's up. I do think Alex is still at the bottom of that alliance.
Yeah, but don't you realize that's what Alex loves? He likes to
be a bottom?
Well, yes. But also in your season, he liked having this, being at the bottom, having no real allies. I think it makes him maneuver a little better for whatever reason. He's able to kind of jump back and forth. I think that's what he's trying to plan here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Alex likes to be at the bottom, but I definitely would say that he plays it well, He
does.
He knows how to work under pressure, but I think that sometimes having the security of an ally, like he did with Elizabeth, is nice.
You don't think Leanna could be that person?
No, not when there's Monet and DeLeon in the game. no, Alex is not.
I mean, honestly, it's probably more so Deleon at this point, I would say. I think they have talked a lot as a duo in this game.
Deleon's just so hard to read, you know?
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that talk between Liana and Alex? Alex ending up using the veto.
I think that he is gonna upset some people with that decision, but I think that we already know that the people he would upset, he was at the bottom of that alliance as well. So, like you said, you know, this is a position that Alex knows how to play a bottom very well.
He does.
So, if he upsets Dazed and Nav and Fangai, oh fucking well.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that is kind of the good part about playing the bottom. You know, Liana and Monet both come off the block here because Monet's power, Liana getting the veto used on her. I mean, they're kind of showing themselves to be a good duo here. Both of them get off the block in the same round.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing the just good timing between two completely independent circumstances where Monet had an advantage that it would be stupid for her not to play, and Liana was able to call on a favor that she was owed, but...
I mean, but wouldn't you say, like, the matriarchy gets blown up, but they're kind of fighting themselves in a new alliance with Deleon and Alex?
We'll see! I'm interested to see how Alex inserts into the trio, especially with Monet, because I don't know how Monet will consent to that. And, you know, you want to give Monet all of this credit for, you know, how she initiated the backdoor on Mike, which I don't disagree with. But I think that shows that Monet is playing the game more than we give her credit for, and that maybe she has opinions that are outside of what Liana may want for the game. So I don't know how Monet's going to feel about pulling in Alex.
Aspen and Deleon are Dazed, two renoms. Ironic that, you know, Dazed blew up Liana's HOH last week, where she had to make two nominees in the renoms, and now he does as well. I guess what goes around comes around. But what do you think about these two as the renoms?
You know, I really thought that seeing Aspen get put up on the block was going to be a lot more satisfying than it actually is.
Really? It's not satisfying?
It's not.
It's not because it's not the right move for Dazed.
I think that's actually why it's not satisfying, is because as dumb as Aspen has played and as reckless as she's been with her lies, don't think she's the move right now. And I don't think that it's up to Dazed to play like judge and jury on that. I think that Meg needs to go up.
I mean, I think a lot of people see that except for Dazed for whatever reason, but it's not helping the fact that Dazed just cannot see that there was a switch of vote.
Monet, she said what she said. She was like, I have a secret switch of vote, I'm gonna play it. And they're like, yeah, so anyways, I know for a fact Monet has a veto. And no one is willing to consider that maybe she has both.
I mean, yeah, but that's because Monet played that well, though. She never said she had... Other than to Liana, she never said she had two powers.
It's good for Monet's game, but it's clearly a major blind spot for every other player in the game. So, yeah. Because they just don't want to believe that what Monet said was the truth. And also, like, that, you know, I think, again, you have to look at people's track records, and the idea that Monet would tell a lie and try and threaten people in order to get the votes the way she wants them to go, that's just not consistent with her as a player.
Yeah.
If anything, Monet would be like, listen, the stars are not aligning for Mike to stay. Like, that would be her pitch before she would try and threaten an entire group. So, like, come on. Like, you gotta know your source here.
Now that she's playing this veto, I feel like it's gonna just make it even more... They're just gonna think even more that she lied. She had the veto the whole time because they think that she only has one power.
Yeah, and, like, I think in the short term, that's good for her, and I think that she's played the power that everyone knows her to have. She can, again, go under the radar, stick her head in the sand for a couple of episodes, and I don't want to hear from her till the bottom 3 or 4, or however this is going to go.
And yeah, even though I really don't think Aspen is the right move for Dazed over Meg, at least. I mean, Aspen also kind of did this to herself as well with her shitty gameplay, honestly. She just lied. at the wrong times this season. So now that she's telling the truth, she really does come off like the girl that cried wolf. You know, a lot of people can fuck up other people's games, and we're kind of seeing that.
Yeah, but I think it's safe to say Aspen fucked up her own game.
Oh, she did. But I'm saying her fucking up her own game.
Yeah.
Also has an effect on other people's games.
That's true. And I think it's more. Yes, I think it extends beyond just like how it'll affect Days, because Meg is the better choice. Now that's gonna weaken the Meg and Fanguy alliance. Who are they gonna pull in? If they lose a number now.
It's true.
That weakens what Alex had going. Aspen just had so many connections in this game that, other than the matriarchy, I felt like were fairly honest connections. So, she hurts the people that she was allied with when she gets put up. So
she does. And Didi says this a lot about her own game, that people don't listen to her enough. Even though Didi does have a good pulse on the game, I think she's able to see the board pretty well. Fanguy's the same way, but nobody ever really listens to Fanguy either. So both, I feel like Fanguy and Didi are both in that same position where they have probably the best reads on the board, but nobody listens to them. Let's move up to your ups and downs. Nav
I have going up for the fourth episode in a row now. It's been plenty. Keep doing what you're doing, Nav.
How about Alex?
I have Alex neutral. He's probably not gonna like this. I'm probably gonna get a whole fucking dissertation in the comments about why I have yet again not put Alex up and acknowledged him for the comp beast that he is.
He did finally win a competition.
I know. Finally. The reason why I have Alex neutral is because, yes, Alex is very good at playing from the bottom. So, that is... I don't think that's an optimal position to be in, but he does do it well. But I still think that if you look at the nominees for this round, it's Deleon, who is the only potential number one for Alex. It's also Aspen, who is the only potential number one for Alex. Like, if we're talking, my season, the only Elizabeth replacements for Alex. Not to say that he's looking for one, but, you do want to have at least one person in this game that you can be honest with and that you can really go to the end with. And two of those players are up. And the players that remain, I do think he has some connections in the game, but he is at the bottom. And again, I think he plays the bottom very well, but I don't know that that's not something that you ever want to be forced to have to do. So that's why
I think Alex would probably disagree with you for sure. But I can see both points. I can see a reason for him to be up because he is so good at maneuvering himself, and he went from I'm gonna always be a target, I'm gonna always be a pawn, and he continues to fall out of anyone's actually target. Even him and Didi are having good conversations now, kind of. But also, I think him using the veto does kind of put a spotlight
more people
back
up.
on him.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can maneuver out of that again. He's done a good job though. Didi
I have up. Kind of the same reasons that I've said before. No one's really targeting her. She's also managed to get out of... it's funny you keep saying no one ever listens to Dee, except for the fact that Dee was the one that spread the gossip about Alex and Aspen, and it has gotten around the game. And Dee is also the one that released the information about the matriarchy, so people do listen to Dee. But for some reason, it never gets accredited to her, so good for her that she's not getting, blamed for these things getting out, I guess. So, Dee's up.
How about Deleon?
Deleon's down.
Because he's a nominee.
Yes, but I do think that it looks better against Aspen than it does against Meg or Leanna, so.
How about Aspen?
Why are you doing this? Maybe you going home. You knew you was going home.
Put that face on your
With
phone.
that face. Pull it up.
How about Monet?
Monet's up. I really think that my assessment was correct, that she's kind of served her punishment. She flushed out her advantage. She's been put up on the block now. So Monet, I'm going to just need you to hush. I want Monet to be good vibes and astrology only.
I don't see her on your list, but how about Liana?
I forgot. I knew I was missing somebody. Let's come back to Liana.
Okay. How about Fangay?
Fangay is neutral. He's obviously not the target for the week, but he does have Aspen going up, and I do think that one of the only genuine allies that he has in this game are Meg and Aspen. So I think her being a potential target and realistically going home, it's not looking good for Fangay. So
how about Meg?
Meg, I have neutral. This is an improvement from where she was last week, where it should have been her up on the block. But I think Meg's reputation is what it is, and I think it's only a matter of time until she's kind of in the same position of Aspen, of you have to be held accountable for how you've played this game. So
how about Days, the HOH?
Days, I have neutral. He didn't get Liana out. He didn't get Monet out, so those are still potential targets. No matter how diplomatically he played this, those are still people that will probably be targeting him. If he doesn't get DeLeon out, there's your trio. So did he even break up the said voting blocks that he, was aspiring to break up?
That's why Aspen is not the right move, because she voted with him.
That is true. And then, but he didn't believe her because he doesn't believe that there's a switch of vote at play.
Yeah.
And then also, okay, you can make the argument that he breaks up the matriarchy, but, the matriarchy's already... The matriarchy has always been fucked.
Yes.
But they are especially fucked now. So.
Yes. That leaves Liana.
I guess I'll say Liana is neutral. She is a target in this game for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what she wants, though, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I say this all the time, that I like when players set their own pace and then stick to that pace, and that's what Liana has done. She's playing this high-octane game, and she's sticking with it. Whereas, I talked about how Fangay, he started one, he was at the bottom, he had to do crazy shit, but yet now he's just kind of floundering at the bottom. And even Days, he started this under-the-radar game and kind of went against it, and now is playing... Days is kind of all over the place now, in my opinion, because he started under the radar, he pushed very hard, died on a hill to save Mike, but now he's trying to play this HOH diplomatic. I don't think it really aligns. But I think Liana, I would still put her neutral because she cheated, put in some boo sound effects, but I mean, her game is very entertaining, and she's sticking to the pace. I'll say that for her. Any final thoughts?
Aspen, baby, you going home. It was nice eating your ass for these past... What's it been? How many episodes?
The way you say that sounds so...
I know. It doesn't... It sounds like I'm shitting on myself, but I know what I mean. It's been nice wrecking you, Aspen. Whenever you finally decide to get over your embarrassment for how you played this game and rewatch these episodes, I'm not sorry for how I came at you. And I hope that you play better next time, because it's giving washed up.
Ooh. Well, if Aspen does... Well, I'm not going to say anything. That is all.
Keep that in.